You can easily add Google Maps to your site, and there's actually two ways to do it. The simplest one is using the MapPress plugin that we install on every site. So I'm going to start with MapPress first. And we'll start, and I'm going to click over to the dashboard on this site. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new listing. We're going to add a map for a listing to this site. So if you're using AgentPress 2, you have a custom post type called listings. If you're using the older version, you would just create a new post in the listings category, but it would work the same way. So we're going to go to our listings menu, and we're going to add new. And I'm going to put in the address for my listing. Okay, now in the content area here for your listing is where I want to add my map. So I'm going to put my mouse cursor where I want to add that MapPress map. And then I'm going to scroll down below the editor, which is where the MapPress panel is located. So let me scroll down. Okay, and you'll see it's down here below the Genesis layout settings by default. Now we can actually move these widgets wherever we want to, so I'm going to move this up to make it a little easier to work with. I'm going to drag it up. And I'm going to put it right here so I can see it a little better. Okay, let's reload this now. Okay, and I'm going to close this property details box right here. All right. So now I'm going to put the mouse cursor back in that content area for my listing. And then I'm going to drop down here to this MapPress panel. And we're going to create a new map. So to create a new map, we click on the blue button for a new map. And the first thing we do is we add the location in the field at the very top. So I'm going to put in the address for my listing. And then click the blue add button. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. And this is the default map that MapPress gives you. It's the location with the little map marker here with the default map. Now there's a lot of customization you can do to this within MapPress, which makes MapPress a really good plugin for you for adding maps. So say for instance, the default view I want my site visitor to see is the satellite view rather than the standard map. So I can customize that first by going up here to the top and click satellite view. And you'll see now I have a satellite view of that neighborhood where this listing is. Let's say I want it zoomed in a little bit so they can see the neighborhood a little better when they first land on the page. So I'm going to click on the plus and zoom this in a little bit. And you'll see now that my listing map is showing some of the local schools and libraries around where this property is. So that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to leave this map view like this. But I also have the option of customizing the information within the little map marker bubble here. So I'm going to edit this information that I want visitors to see when they see this map. And the way I do that is I click on the little blue edit link. Here we go. I'm going to move this address from the top here. So I'm just going to cut this and paste it here. And then I'm going to put my own title on the map marker. I'm going to say recently remodeled and save that. So you have the option of putting all kinds of custom information in that little bubble. So let me center it a little bit more again here. Okay, now I've got my map the way I want it. So I'm going to give this map a title. I'm just going to call it 555 Main Street. Now the MapPress default size is 425 by 350, which is a pretty good size for the content area. But suppose you want your map to fill the content area. You want it to be full width. On most sites, that full width in your content area is 600 pixels. So I'm going to change this to 600 by 400. So now that I've got the size done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save my map. Now that I've saved my map, MapPress gives it an ID number here with the title that I just gave it, which was 555 Main Street. And you'll notice when I mouse over it, I now have three little links underneath it. One that says Edit, one that says Insert into Post, and one that says Delete. Now, if I want to go back in and make some changes to my map, I can just click on the Edit link, and I'll get back to the screen I was in before. So here I can go ahead and recenter it. I'll make whatever changes I want to make to the map and resave it again. Now that I'm happy with my map, I'm going to now click on the link to insert it into the post. Now I'm going to scroll back up to my listing here, and you'll see what it did is inserted a short code. And if you're familiar with WordPress, you know WordPress, anything inside of brackets is called a short code. So this short code is MapPress map ID equals 3. And you'll remember when it saved that map, it gave it the ID number of 3. So now I can save this listing. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. Go back and give it a title again. Let's go ahead and view this. Okay, and here's the map we just created for this listing. And you'll see now it's got that satellite view that we wanted. And it's zoomed in to show the neighborhood with the high school and the library. And it's got our customized map marker here. Now you see, once it's published, it gives some options to the site visitor as well. There's now a link in that bubble that they can click on to get directions to this location. And you'll see they can put in their starting location and get directions by car or walking or by bike from their address to here, and they can click on the button to get directions. They can print the directions. And it also has the little Google Pegman. If they want to get a street view, they can just drag the little Pegman to that location. And see, now they can actually get a street view of that address that you put there for your listing. So that's the easy way to add a map to a listing. But say you want to do a post, and you're doing a post for all the open houses for that weekend. You can add multiple locations to that map. So let's go back to this map we were working on. And let's edit it. And we can add a second location here. We're going to put 553 Main Street. Okay, and we're going to zoom in a little more. They're a little close together, but the two markers are there. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And we'll see now that we have two locations on our map. If we go back and refresh our listing here. See, we now have both locations here. The original one and then our second one. So you can add multiple locations to the same map. And once it's inserted into your post or your listing, you can go back and edit that map, and it will automatically update that map. You don't have to reinsert it into your listing or post. MapPress is available on pages, on posts, and in your custom post types as well. By default, it's not added to your custom post type. So if you don't see the MapPress panel for your listing or your business directory, you can go into the MapPress settings and enable it. So we're going to go back to our dashboard, and we're going to go to our MapPress settings. Okay, so we go down the dashboard. We're going to go to settings, and then we're going to select MapPress. And these are our MapPress settings. Most of the time, the defaults work well. The only issue, like I said, is by default, it's only enabled on pages and posts. So if you don't see it on any of your custom post types, you can enable it here, which is the third setting down for post types. So you just check those additional custom post types you may have on your site. In this particular site, we have the custom post type of listing for the AgentPress 2. We also have the event calendar, so if you want to enable it in your event calendar. If you have the business directory, you can also select that. That will show up here as well. You just check the box to enable it for your business directory, so you can add maps to that as well. So you just enable it here in the MapPress settings, and then you scroll down to the bottom to save. Most of these other settings here, like I said, the defaults work well, but there are some of the settings that you might want to use here under CSS settings, like map alignment. You can choose the default alignment, or you can make sure that all your maps by default are centered in your pages of post, which is what I have here. Or you can have it automatically aligned left in your pages of post. You can also select a border for your maps. If you wanted to have a border around your maps, you can select a style here as well. So you can check those CSS settings to kind of customize your map a little bit. And once you set those, then you can go ahead and just click the blue Save Changes button. Now that's the easy way to add maps. Now occasionally you may want to create like a custom map in Google My Maps. We'll cover this in a later webinar on how to draw neighborhood maps. But if you have a custom map that you've created in Google My Maps, let's go over to Google Maps. And if you just do a search for Google My Maps, it will take you to this page. So we're going to create a map. Let's call this. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's see if we can save this now. Okay, now we saved it to that map we created. Okay, so now we want to get the code for the map we've created. And you'll see when you click on the little link icon, you've got two little fields here. One of them is just the link here. The second one is the HTML to embed in website. And this is what we want here. So we're going to copy this. And we're going to go back to our listing that we were using. Let's go back to listings. Okay. Now, if you're using Agent Press 2, you've noticed in your property details, so I'm going to open this back up, that the Agent Press 2 property details comes with a little box where you can enter the map embed code. So I'm going to paste this here. Okay. And when you add property details, you know that you have to add the short code in your listing here. Property underscore details. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to update this listing. Okay, now let's go refresh this listing. Oops, let's go back. I think I needed to send this to the text editor. Okay. Yes, when you add the map embed code, you need to click the button to send to the text editor. And what that does is it inserts another short code. This time it's property underscore map. So that embed code we just added a new short code here. So we're going to update. Now we're going to refresh this listing. And you'll see now it's inserted that map that we created in Google My Maps here. And here's the one we did using MapPress. The one we did with Google My Maps is pretty simple. You can create very detailed maps. You can actually draw neighborhood boundaries. You can add different locations. And you can create very custom maps in Google My Maps. And like I said, we'll cover that in a future webinar. But for now, I'm just going to show you how you can embed this into your poster pages. This is how you do it with the custom post type of listings in Agent Press 2. Now, if you want to insert a custom map into a poster page, we're going to do this next. Let's go back to our dashboard. And we're going to say we're going to add a new page. Say we've done a neighborhood map, and we're going to put it into a page. I'm just going to call this My Neighborhood. Okay. To insert this map embed code from Google My Maps, you can't insert it in visual mode in your editor. Whenever you add any kind of embed code or any code, you have to switch over to HTML. And you'll notice in your editor you've got two tabs, one that says visual and one that says HTML. We're going to switch over to HTML, and now we're going to paste this code. And we're going to publish this neighborhood page. Okay, now we're going to open up this page and view it. And you'll see now we've got our custom map in our neighborhood page here. But if you just want a simple map, MapPress is probably the easiest way to go. And like I said, the MapPress is available in post pages and your custom post types once it's enabled for those custom post types. So if we go back to Edit Page and you'll scroll down, you'll see that MapPress is indeed there where you can just add a simple map using MapPress. Okay. And like I said, if you want to play around with some of the settings and kind of customize your maps a little bit, it's under your settings menu. You just go to settings and you go and you look for MapPress and click on MapPress. And this gives you the ability to do a little bit of customization for your MapPress maps from your site.